Thank you very much. Mr. Senate President, Madam Speaker, members of the Senate and Assembly, fellow citizens of New Jersey. 23 days ago, I was honored to take the oath of office as your governor and promised you and the people of New Jersey a new direction. The old ways of doing business have not served the people well, I said that day, and I asked for your help in bringing about change. Today, I thank you for coming together with me to meet today, because it is time to take the first major and urgent step in delivering the change we promised in the critically important area of the state budget. New Jersey is in a financial state of crisis. Our state's budget has been left in a shambles, and it requires immediate action to achieve balance. For the current fiscal year 2010, which has only 4.5 months left to go, the budget we inherited has a $2 billion gap. The budget passed less than 8 months ago in June of last year contains all of the same worn-out tricks of the trade that have become commonplace in Trenton, that have driven our citizens to anger and frustration, and our wonderful state to the edge of bankruptcy. What do I mean exactly? This year's budget projected 5.1% growth in sales tax revenue and flat growth in corporate business tax revenues. Now, in June of 2009, was there anyone in New Jersey, other than in the Department of Treasury, who actually believed any revenues would grow in this budget year? With spiraling unemployment heading over 10%, with a financial system in crisis, and with consumers petrified to spend, only Trenton Treasury officials could certify that kind of growth. What are the facts? The facts are that sales tax revenue is not up 5%, it's down 5.5%. And corporate business tax revenue is not flat, it is down 8%. Is there any wonder why we're in such big trouble? Any question why the people don't trust their government anymore and demand a change? Today, we must make a pact with each other to end this reckless conduct with the people's government. Today, we come to terms with the fact that we cannot spend money on everything we want. Today, the days of Alice in Wonderland budgeting in Trenton will end. The facts are that revenues are coming in $1.2 billion below what was projected last year, and over $800 million in additional spending was done by the previous administration on their way out the door. Our Constitution requires a balanced budget. Our commitment requires us to begin the next fiscal year with a prudent opening balance. Our conscience and our common sense require us to fix the problem in a way that does not raise taxes on the most overtaxed citizens in America. I'm cutting spending in 375 different state programs from every corner of state government. I doubt that many will be popular, but I will use my executive authority to implement them now because I must. Taken as a package, they will achieve the required savings and eliminate our budget gap. I am not happy, but I am not afraid to make these decisions either. It is what the people sent me here to do. And I ask all of you, my partners in the legislature, to show the same frankness and commitment, for inaction is no longer an option. That was a path that was taken for far too long. The cuts I have outlined may sound dramatic, and they are. Some sound painful, and they will be. But let me give you some context. As of the 1st of this month, About half of the budget had already been spent. The state at January 31st had about $14 billion of unspent money for the current fiscal year. Of that amount, $8 billion cannot be touched because of contract, as in the case of state employees, or maintenance of effort for federal stimulus money, by constitutional requirement, by terms of our bonds, or by act of law. So upon my arrival, my administration had a $6 billion balance to work with. $6 billion of balances from which to find $2 billion in savings. We had to cut 1/3 of our available funds with only 4.5 months to go in the fiscal year. Now, we were all taught when we were young that it is not always easy to do the right thing. We chose today not to use gimmicks or Band-Aids to hide We chose today not to use gimmicks or Band-Aids to hide the budget gap or defer it until next year when it would be even worse. We refused to repeat the failures of the past. We chose to confront the problem head on by reforming our spending habits and laying the groundwork for reform so that we can repair a structural deficit that will be even larger, many times larger, in the next fiscal year, 2011. So the cuts I'm making today are not easy, but they are necessary. And make no mistake, our priorities are this: to reduce and reform New Jersey's habit of excessive government spending, to reduce taxes, to encourage job creation, to shrink our bloated government, and to fund our responsibilities on a pay-as-you-go basis and not to leave them for future generations. In short, it's to make New Jersey a home for growth instead of a fiscal basket case. We have set out in a new direction, a direction dictated by the votes of the people of New Jersey. And I do not intend to turn back. I will not break faith with them or the mandate they have given me. The great President Ronald Reagan once said that a leader, once convinced a particular course of action is the right one, must have the determination to stick with it and be undaunted when the going gets tough. Just over a month, I will come back to this chamber to lay out my plan for fiscal year 2011 and beyond. The challenge next year will be even greater. The cuts likely will be even deeper. The reforms will, of necessity, need to be even more dramatic. But let us not make the problem even worse. Let us begin the process of reform today. Let us listen to the will of the people and proceed in a new, more responsible direction. Let us live within the means the people are already providing us and not take more of their hard-earned wages and savings from their pockets. Let us have the courage to make change real, the fortitude to see it through, and the vision not only to craft a more sound and sustainable budget, but to build a better state that can grow once again for its people. Thank you very much for coming in on this snowy day. I appreciate it. God bless America, and may God continue to bless the great state of New Jersey. Thank you very much.